Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit today about trout fishing in the state of Virginia. Virginia contains about 3,500 miles of trout streams. And for the most part, they're all located in the western part of the state, along the Appalachian Mountain chain, which travels up the western part of Virginia, all the way from down around Tennessee. It travels the entire length of the Virginia border there, which borders with West Virginia and Tennessee on the southern side, West Virginia on the western side. And there are a lot of mountain streams. A lot of them are really small, but there's some pretty good sized mountain streams also. There's 2,900 miles of wild trout streams, and 600 miles of water that's inhabited with stock trout. And Virginia Department of Inland Fisheries stock trout. Now, the trout in Virginia are brook trout, brown trout, and rainbow trout. Now, there's some golden trout also that's stocked for kids' fishing day. I know they were last year stocked in Wolf Creek down in Giles County, Virginia for kids' fishing day. And golden trout is a state fish of California, and it's a rainbow trout, but it's golden in color. So let me go on down through this. If you look on the website, Virginia Game and Inland Fisheries, it tells you about the stocking plan that Virginia has for its various streams. There's 3 different types of streams that stock. Category A, Category B, and Category C. You can read more about that on their website. Category A stocked 8 times between October and May the 31st. Category B stocked 5 times between October and May 15th. And then Category C stocked 3 times. There are some catch and release streams where you can't keep the trout. And there's also some heritage waters. So you can read more about that on the website also. This is a list of the trout streams that are stocked. And also it has in there, if you take a look at the cursor there, it tells you what the stocking schedule is for each one of those streams. And so you can see where streams are that's located close to you if you're interested in going trout fishing. This talks about a little bit about the cold water fish production and stocking. Now, state of Virginia, they not only raise trout and hatch trout out, but they also do some other fishes also, like walleye and some other fish that they stock in various streams and creeks and rivers throughout the state. So let me go on down through this, and here's the seasons and limits. Trout season's open year-round, and actually you can catch them year-round. Their streams come out of the mountain, and they're pretty cold, and a lot of the streams are really, really shaded, especially the wild trout streams are up in forest, and they're really shaded so that the water stays cold all year round, so you can catch the fish all year round. So it's cold enough in those mountain streams for those trout to survive. They got some beautiful wild trout that you can catch. A lot of them are pretty small, but there's some beautiful, beautiful trout. Now, what I did is I did some analysis here. I went through the trophy fish citations that's reported on the Virginia Game and Inland Fisheries website, and I went through it and got all of those out of the various streams, and I did some analysis on that, on the rainbow trout, and the brown trout, and the brook trout, which is the only 3 trout basically in the state of Virginia. And these are the trophy fish size citations, which what I did is I took and got all the citations for all the years 2000 to 2017. And as you can see, a rainbow trout has to be pretty good size there for it to be reported as a citation. Brook trout has to be up to a couple of pounds, and the brown trout have to be up to 5 pounds. What's mainly stocked throughout the state of Virginia is the rainbow trout, but there are some other trout that's stocked and raised at the fisheries, and we'll get into that in just a minute here. The trophy fish citations listed on the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries website, and this is years 2000 to 2017. There's 6,357 brown trout, brook trout, and then there's 1,073 brown trout. The brown trout are not really predominant in the state of Virginia, but the mountain streams do have some brown trout. I would imagine there's probably some native brown trout. Of course, I'm really not sure about that, but I'm sure some fingerlings over the years have been put in the mountain streams, and probably some reproduction has taken place. A rainbow trout, like I say, they're the most stocked in the state of Virginia. The trout are raised at the Marion, Paint Bank, Withville, Coursey Springs, and Monticello hatcheries. Going down through here, this tells you a little bit about the fish hatcheries. You can actually get this information off of the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries website. The trout hatcheries, they got some in the northern part of Virginia, some in the central part of Virginia, and some in the southern part of Virginia. Once again, right along the western part of the state of Virginia in the mountains. That's where these hatcheries are located. The hatcheries to the north stock the streams up there, and the ones in the central region stock those streams, and then the ones down toward the southern part of Virginia stock those streams down there. So they keep all those streams stocked according to the way to. These are the most productive brook trout waters. Now, the reason why I did this, and these are the number of citations that have been reported for the various trout species. You can see brook, brown, and rainbow. The reason why I did this is people might be interested in catching brook trout or brown trout or rainbow trout. Most of all the trout that I've ever caught, and I live down in Giles County, which is in the western, southwestern part of the state of Virginia. All the trout that I've ever caught down here were rainbow trout and brook trout. I've never caught a brown trout, but I hope to get out and do some trout fishing this summer and catch some brown trout. But as you can see there, that's the most productive waters for brook trout. As I mentioned, mainly rainbow trout are stocked, but I'm sure maybe some brook and brown also are stocked, but nowhere near as many as the rainbow. What I should mention here is that there's a trout farm here, Hemlock Springs Trout Farm, and if you're interested in going there and fishing, those places generally have a lot of fish, and you can stand there and catch fish after fish after fish. And then you got Cripple Creek, which is down in West County, I believe, down south of where I live. And they have several places down there where you can pay to fish, and those places that stream, Cripple Creek, is not only stocked by the state of Virginia, but I'm sure those places where you fish, they do a lot of stocking themselves, because there are places where you can buy actually rainbow trout, and you can buy catfish and other type of fish to stock in your own little streams or ponds. The most productive brown trout waters, as you can see there, there's a lot of brown trout in Lake Moomaw, very few brook, a few rainbow. Now, some of these rivers, what happens is streams are stocked, and then when the waters get high, the fish make their way down to the rivers. So, like New River, for example, it really don't have any stocking that takes place in New River, but a lot of the fish come out of the streams and go into New River, so you can actually catch trout in New River. And once again, rainbow trout waters, you can see now. I mentioned also Cripple Creek. There's a lot of trout that's caught in Cripple Creek, and once again, there's several places down there. You can look those up on the internet, where you can go down there and they have paid fishing. Plus, also in Cripple Creek, there's some public waters that are stocked, and you can go down there and fish in those waters. All other waters, there's a lot of streams here that where people have caught trout that are really not listed in the state of Virginia website. But like I say, there's a lot of mountain streams, there's a lot of private ponds that have trout in them. But once again, these are the most productive waters for the various species of trout. But anyway, that's who I am there. I do a lot of videos on various outdoor subjects, so if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I've done some videos on muskies and walleyes and fishing in the New River and fishing in the James River about those fisheries, and I do a lot of other outdoor videos on hiking and various other things. So if you like my videos, please subscribe. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. You folks have a nice day.